Nothing more Tano here, the internet's busiest music nerd. And it's time for a review of the new Alex G record, Beach Music. He is a singer-songwriter from the state of Pennsylvania. And he's come to be known on the internet for a series of homespun releases, which kind of took off on Bandcamp, took off to the point where he had labels scouting him out. His last full-length album, DSU, got a Rough Trade Records reissue, and his new album Over Here came after a Domino Records signing, which is pretty nice. Now, personally, Alex's music has never really struck a chord with me or made me excited in any kind of way, so I basically went into this new album Over Here looking to be surprised, not really totally knowing what to expect, because Alex never really came off to me as an artist that had that distinct of a style or sound. A lot of his previous releases to me read a little bit like rehashes of a lot of 90s indie rock and lo-fi rock music. So maybe Domino Records and all of this recent attention on him and his music could tease out Alex's potential. Again, didn't totally know what to expect coming out of this thing. So I gave it a listen. It's a short LP, 13 tracks or so, though a lot of the songs in the track listing here are somewhat brief. And Alex covers a pretty impressive amount of ground throughout all of these tracks. We do have straightforward, indie-flavored, somewhat old-school rock songs. We have some stripped-back, more acoustic cuts on here, songs that are more synthetic, keyboard-based, kind of ambient, very vast and glistening. We have the very precious, cute little duet tune, Bright Boy, and a lot of these songs flow into one another, making this record feel kind of cohesive. There are actually some production techniques and little, I guess, editing quirks that I haven't really heard many artists in this particular style use, maybe some weird vocal manipulations or some strange noises here and there. And even though Alex does experiment occasionally or changes styles, nothing on this album really feels too out of place or too out of reach either. I think the one track that sticks out as just being unlike anything else, and maybe not in the best of ways, is the intro, which features the stuttering drums and screaming vocals and very noisy layers of guitars, and it sounds really quiet, super lo-fi, and nothing else on the album really fits the tone of this introductory track. It's pretty much everything you're not going to hear on this record.
Am I in the first track from the music?
No, you're not.
Okay, so I'm on the album?
No. God, I would hope not. I would hope not. And I hope that continues to be the case. I hate you, and I wish you were dead again, or in hell, wherever you came from. Okay, so this intro track immediately transitions into the song Bug, which is a very laid-back, low-key, stringy indie tune, which is a dead ringer for a Modest Mouse instrumental if you just pulled Alex's vocals out of the picture. And Alex sings in this very kind of lazy, melancholy, slacker type of way and doubles his vocals up for the effect of, I don't know, a sound that's a little Elliott Smith-ish. But the tune itself that Alex is singing isn't really that bad, and the instrumental is well put together. It's, I don't know, I guess got a lot of detail to it. But listening to the first few songs off of this record and Alex's past work, I really have no doubt that he is everything he's been hyped up to be in terms of being authentic and just being very emotionally real in his songs. But the thing is, as a singer-songwriter and as a personality, I just don't think he has that strong of a voice. Some of Alex's lyrics and tunes and vocal deliveries on this record are outright flavorless, drab, and boring, especially on tracks like Mud. I fail to even see the purpose of the song Walk in the track listing here, which just kind of sounds like a short filler instrumental with no real beginning or ending that has a bit of lead guitar that to me reads a little too much like Mac DeMarco. But when this record does manage to win me over, it does it with some beautiful and well-assembled lo-fi music more than it does with a strong and winning and sharp and smart and interesting singer-songwriter personality. And thankfully, that happens somewhat often on this album, like with the track Thorns, where I'm loving the doubled up guitar arpeggios, interjecting between the very sad and somber verses that are very keyboard heavy. It's a sweet little instrumental. Alex's falsetto doesn't sound too bad either, and on the song Kicker, I think the guitar lines on this track are some of the coolest pieces of guitar work on the entire record. It's got a really odd groove to it. I love the way that the guitars sync up with the drums. And I think that there are a lot of moments here where what this album doesn't have in personality, it makes up for in just cool, creative musical ideas. Alex takes really well to a synthetic drum beat and some heavy keyboard layers on the song Salt Run, and I love that little ba 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 vocal refrain, which is a very nice and sharp, catchy point on this song. This track and the song Lookout, they're really just synth intensive, and especially Lookout, which feels like it has a bit of an ambient vibe to it. Even though these songs are very light, they feel a little Ariel Pink inspired and are two of the more distinct moments on this record. And then following these songs, we have the very heart-melting Bright Boy, and then with the song In Love, we kind of get a piano ballad with, I don't know, maybe one of the odder vocal deliveries on the entire LP. I guess in concept I kind of like this track, and I don't mind the tune or the lyrics, but the vocal delivery here just feels like such a put on. The last few tracks on here are a tad bit generic and maybe are a few of the most unmemorable moments on the entire record. Alex really doesn't experiment as much on the back end of this record as much as he did in the middle of this album. I definitely see the appeal of Alex G. I think he comes up with some interesting musical ideas, and I think that there are some people out there who have a bit of a soft spot for the nostalgia of the 90s when it comes to indie rock and alternative rock and lo-fi music. And Alex certainly channels a lot of those influences well. However, I think he kind of fails to put an interesting or even his own spin on it quite often enough to make some of the tracks on this album kind of, drowning in their influences a little bit. I'm feeling a light to decent 6 on this thing. Zishin, have you given this record a listen? If you have, what did you think of it? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Why? What do you think I should review next? And that's it. Anthony Fantano, Alex G, forever.